What is up, guys? Suave here, and I am back with another video. This one is another story time video. Now, a little background on this story. This one was one of my essays that I wrote in my English class. Now, we were given like options on what time period we wanted to do, and I decided to do the Great Depression. However, it didn't have to be realistic. Like, it could be fictional. You can do whatever you wanted. Like, my teacher was cool with it, and so I just let my imagination fly. Now, without further ado, I will read this story. During the Great Depression, almost no one went out of their homes, for the fear of being shot was prevalent. I was in a gang known as Night Riders. This gang is as vicious as a dragon. I joined because I hit rock bottom, because my family couldn't support themselves. We got so far into debt and were evicted from our home. I've been tatted all around my arms, and tonight we're gonna set the streets on fire. All I need is a gas and a lighter, and tonight people will know I'm a writer. The streets were lit and flaming when I got my first job. I was told to take out a rival gang member. His name was Alex Delgado, and this wannabe pit viper was mine. If I took him out, it would send a message saying 22nd Street was ours. With the 22nd Street, we'd make racks. I went home and got my 50 Desert Eagle and my green hood, as well as my gas and lighter. This 50 was my brother's, who died in a gang war, and that crooked pit viper Delgado would pay. The gas and the lighter was to show our new territory, and was saved for our greatest enemies. I set out, and when I got to the 22nd, doors, blinds, and garages were getting closed. The families knew the massacre that would occur. I saw the pit viper, and so I cocked my brother's 50. I hid it in my back pocket and walked out. Well, well, well. Look at the scared viper, I chuckled. Back up, bruh. You don't want none. Not if you know what's good for you, Delgado mumbled. Oh, I will. I pulled out the 50 as soon as I make you leak it. Delgado began to run. I wasn't letting him get away, so I ran after him. This viper was quick and agile, like a puma, but he wasn't fast enough. After running through the 24th Street, I tackled the punk, and I began to cave his face in. Each punch more powerful than the last. Please stop. Please, just kill me, he begged. No, not yet. Not because you killed my brother slowly, I responded with a sinister smile. He began to talk about nonsense, of how my gang was back in the city's paper. Bullshit, I yelled, ramming my 50 in his head. It's true. I know because I was one of you, he said just barely audibly. I pistol whipped him and poured the gas on him. I lit my lighter. Good riddance, I said. I tossed my lighter, and you can hear his screams of pain. Now the 22nd was ours. I went back and told them the deed was done. Good, they said. I decided to go to my girl's place. Oh my God, are you alright? She asked with fear. I'm fine. Don't worry. I'll always be here for you. I love you, I responded, holding her chin up. I kissed her, and we made it to her room, where we began to undress. The way she felt, the way she kissed and touched me, it was just fuel to the fire. She began to wrap her legs and arms around me. This drug, known as sex, we had and didn't stop till the morning. It was 7 in the morning, and she was still asleep. I kissed her forehead after I dressed and went into the living room. I couldn't shake what that Delgado said. so I began to investigate. I saw the cars the big dogs had. How much they were worth was mind-blowing. 3 G's, I thought, with my eyes wide open. I wondered how we could afford this. How we could afford our drugs and weapons. I overheard the big dogs talk. They don't know a damn thing about the money, the big dog said. I listened more, and each second that they spoke, it made me realize what was going on. I got what I needed to learn. I went back to my girl's place, and I grabbed my brother's 50. Where are you going? She asked, scared. I kissed her. Call the feds to this location, and if I don't come back, I love you, I said. I left right after, and I heard her yell not to go, but I knew what I had to do. No one suspected a thing, so I was able to walk past everyone. The head honcho's guards wouldn't move, so I lit them up. I busted the door down like a rhino. Give the money back, you rook, I yelled, pointing the gun at him. I saw him reach for a gun, and I lit him the fuck up. The feds came in, and I didn't put up a fight, but I told them where the money was. 3 months later, I went to court, and they got me on 4 gun charges, 2 murders, and 3 counts of assault. I was found guilty and sentenced for the death penalty. I was being pulled out when Isabel whispered to me, "I'm pregnant," she said with her lovely voice. I smiled, and as they put me in the van. Once I reached the prison, they strapped me to a chair. Before they injected me, they said, "Let him see his kid before he's gone." My family visited. A girl visited. 9 months later, I waited for my time when I saw my daughter. She had her eyes and beauty. Instead of killing me, however, they changed my sentence for life in prison. Name her after yourself, and don't ever let her touch the 50s, I said as I put my hand on the glass. I love you. I love you too, she said. After a while, my family stopped visiting. My girl visited for the longest, but even she stopped visiting. Now I sit here, knowing I'll live and die here, but I knew the economy began to pick up again. But I never told you. The big dog was gassed and flamed. Well guys, that's the end of this story. This story was actually the longest one I've ever wrote in my life. It's 7 pages long. I was surprised I even wrote 7 pages. I feel like it would have been way longer, just way longer, if I was given more time. But I wasn't given enough time, so it was cut at 7 pages. There was so many things that were just cut out, so many things I wanted in there, so much other little details, but I couldn't add them. All because I didn't have no time. It wasn't that bad, really. And this was our final too, and I was one of the few people who got a 4.0 on it. So this is basically the story where I said, so I basically wrote a book. Yeah, this is basically the book. 7 pages, for me, that's a lot. When I write something, that's a lot. 'Cause my essays, normally about 1.5 pages, 2 pages. Rarely 3. 4 is just pushing it. So for me to write 7 pages, like, I was really interested in writing this thing. Like, I really wrote. Man. I was happy my teacher gave us that creative, like, addition to our stories, because without it, yeah, I would have never wrote such a long story. Now, like, with this, we were actually supposed to, like, imitate another author's writing style. I don't remember which author I did exactly, but I guess I did it perfectly because the 4.0 just came in. So I was like, oh man, this is great. Now, I have more stories. Like, they're a little shorter. I have no idea where they're at right now. So I'll look for them. And when I find them, yeah, I'll share them too. No, just story time, you know. Now, like, I am actually thinking of writing a bit more stories as well, because, hey man, this is really good. And looking at the handout that we got, like, for ideas what we could write about, I can just sit here and write more stories about this. Like, I am just looking at these, like the experience of going through Angel or Ellis Island. I can do that. Living in colonial America under British rule, setting up a colony in America, living in a city in the industrial age, working as a Chinese or Irish immigrant on the railroad, working in the Lowell Mills or Lowell Mills, life in a tenement housing, writing the Declaration or the Constitution, working as a laborer in the Bracero program, participating in Shays Rebellion, being poor or non-white in post-war era, traveling the Middle Passage as a slave, the experience of living in a Japanese internment camp. I can just write so many stories about this. Like, I can really just write something here. Now, one of my cousins, he knows about the story. Like, I didn't tell him, like, the story, you know, I didn't read it to him or anything, but he knows that, like, I wrote it and everything. And I told him, yeah, if I just had more time. He's like, well, you should just fill it in, you know, right, how you would have wrote it. That's kind of hard for me to do now, because it's like, well, I pretty much already wrote it. It's gonna be kind of hard for me to think already, because, like, well, I don't know what to add anymore. I don't know, I'll try to add more. I don't know if you guys would want to see a revision of this. If you guys do, that'd be great, I guess. So, I'll try to revise it. Man, it's getting hot in here. I hate spring right now. It's not summer. It's spring and it's hot like this. Like, my goodness. I don't like that. Whatever, though. Yeah. And man, that Infinite Warfare trailer, it's really hitting the tank. Like, my gosh, 2 million dislikes now, more than that. Like, dang. I didn't even watch the trailer. Like, I watched it because I was like, really, they're bringing COD 4 back? Alright, I gotta watch this. No, I doubt they would do it. Sure enough, they were. But everything else, like, I sat there, I'm like, these textures, they're disgusting. Like, I expected more. Like, that's basically, I expected more, especially from a Call of Duty game. Being one of the biggest games out there. Even though it's declining. Which, in my opinion, like, I kind of like, because it's really overdone. Like, just too repetitive and everything. But at the same time, I can see that it's not a good thing, because if that's gone, pretty much the only real big one is Battlefield. Overwatch is coming out, but, you know, that's not really, like, a militaristic shooter in a way, like just military themed. So it's more of like in my opinion, a comedical one. Oh man, excuse me for hitting my desk. Like if you just played it, like you can see why I say it's comedical, like just comical. I mean, but hey, now Uncharted just recently came out. Yeah, I really want to get that game. I'm gonna buy 2 games though, like in my opinion, because one, I need to buy one for a little thing that's gonna be happening in my life, which is basically like having some friends over, and then another one, you know, just for a playthrough. One of them is gonna be Black Ops 3. I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, I'm actually gonna buy it. Now, I said I was gonna buy it just for zombies, but I was still really hesitant about it because I was like, I don't know, man. Like, it doesn't feel like zombies, because like Shadows of Evil, it was just overly complicated. Like, I didn't like the map design. Just everything about it, I did not like it. Like, it was cool, like the theme of it, you know, that was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie about that. But like in terms of how it plays, yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea. Like, I didn't enjoy it. So when I first played Black Ops 3 Zombies, it was that map. Didn't like it, so I went straight to the Giant. I was like, I'm playing some old school zombies with this new school movement and guns. Like, I wasn't gonna deal with that. But I'm gonna have to buy some PSN cards, you know, for the PSN dollars, I guess you'd call them. That's all I'm gonna just call them. So I can buy some DLCs. Like, cause I don't want to play Shadows of Evil. I don't care for the trophies in it. I don't care for any of it. I don't want to play it. I just don't want to touch it. But yeah, I'm gonna buy that. And Uncharted, man, I'm gonna just buy it. So that's one of my favorite series. Like, I have all 3 of them. I've beaten all 3 of them. I would replay them, but I've already replayed them. So I don't want to do it again for the 3rd time. But like, they're just magnificent. Like, just amazingly crafted games. Second one was the best one. Like, I thought the 3rd would be a little bit better, but nah. It just started off a little bit too slow in the beginning. But that made for an excellent game. Like, you can really make a movie out of it. I'm surprised no one has made movies out of the Uncharted games. I hope no one does, though, because I feel like it's going to be bad if people do. But I'm still kind of surprised no one's attempted to do it. Now, a sad news about this Need for Speed game. They just released their last content update. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, all this free content is now just done. I'm happy they gave out free content like that, but the game wasn't really exactly to where I just wanted it. Like, I will admit it was a great game and everything. One of my favorite Need for Speeds now. But it just wasn't up to like that high standard of like the amount of cars, the type of cars, you know. Like, I wanted something more like in the lines of Midnight Club, in the sense of like how many cars there were, like different kinds of cars, you know. Like, you had the lowriders, you had the luxury cars, you had the exotics, the muscles, the SUVs, you know, stuff like that. Like, basically, I just wanted more, like, different kinds of cars. Like a 64 Chevy Impala, a 71 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, you know, stuff like that. And then it had a lot of customization, but on many of the cars there wasn't enough. Like, I'll give you an example. The Mustang, like the 65 or 7, I don't remember the exact year of that Mustang. You can buy it, you're like, oh yeah, I can do a lot of things. No. You can get a Shelby front bumper. Wasn't my favorite, so I didn't really want it. You change the hood to like about 3 different other ones. No, I didn't really like those either. Real bumper, hey, you can take it off, yep. So I did that. You can detrim the taillights. Alright. Can't really do too much with the headlights. Like, there wasn't really anything going on with the car. So, I was like, man, this sucks. You know, rims, it was a large selection, but I wish there was more. Like, if they did have some lowrider cars, like, you know, the Dayton rims. I like Dayton's. Some white wall tires too, you could have added those there. What? And then I think they could have like found a way to make the paint a little bit easier. Like, you could have made it like a circle rather than a straight bar. And then, you know, hydraulics and airbag suspension, they could have added those too. Like, they didn't even have to be like stuff for performance, just stuff for style, which I would have liked. Like, there's just so much they could have added, but it wasn't there. But hey, they had another 2 years to make another good Need for Speed, and I'm just waiting for them to make another one. I hope they take our suggestions, because I really want to see more cars for one, and more customization options, and then just a little improvements on some of the things. A day to night cycle, that'd be cool, but they would have to make it so the story works with it. Like, I guess they'd have 2 recordings or whatever, and depending on how the game reads the time, it's like, oh, it's daytime right now. Oh, today we're gonna go race at 7 in the morning. Okay. Or maybe you're doing that same race, but in game it's like 8 o'clock tonight we race. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to do, but like, I don't even know how hard it is actually. Like, maybe it's hard, maybe it's not, but I just hope they do something like that. Because the Frostbite engine, you can make some very beautiful like cars and areas like with those features and everything. And then there's like one more thing I think I want to add into the game. I can't remember exactly right now though. Man. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff I want added. And then what else am I thinking of right now? Oh. So I played Destiny again, and I regretted it, guys. I'm never gonna make a Destiny video. This is never gonna happen. Like, the game is just so bad. Like, I don't like day 1. You know, I found it really fun. Like, basically the whole week I found it like fun, and then it started dying off. Like, real quick, in my opinion. What? There's like another game it's the same, but I never played it, so I can't say anything. And this is the end of the video. And join me next time. Subscribe if you want to see more.